Welcome back. This week, we're doing more than just a recap. We're going to give you a framework, a new way to look at the biggest stories in women's sports. It's week 9 of 2026, and trust me, once you see these patterns, you'll never watch the same way again. Let's dive in.
You know, every result, whether it's from a soccer match or a track meet, is like a single dot. Today, we're going to connect those dots. We're going to see the bigger picture, the tactical showdowns, the championship momentum, and the just incredible human stories that are driving all of this.
And let's start with a big question in soccer. What gets you more excited? Is it that high-stakes, top-of-the-table clash where literally every single point can make or break a season? Or is it that thrilling, unpredictable league where, anyone can beat anyone on any given day? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments.
Because that's really the main theme we're seeing right now, this frantic race for position. Over in England's WSL, it is an all-out war for the title. But you look across the Atlantic, at the NWSL, and even in NCAA basketball, it's a little different. It's more of a seeding war, all about building that critical momentum for the playoffs.
And this isn't just a theory, right? You can see this exact pattern playing out all over the place. In the WSL, you've got Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United in this ridiculously tight race for the trophy itself. Meanwhile, in the NWSL, teams like the Portland Thorns are just focused on building that head of steam for the playoffs. And then you've got NCAA basketball, where powerhouses like South Carolina and UConn are fighting for those crucial top seeds. It's all the same game, a race for position.
So how do you even begin to predict who's going to win it all later in the year? Well, you start looking for something called a performance indicator. Think of it like a major clue, an early result or a stat that basically tells you who is truly ready for a championship run.
And right now, there is absolutely no better example of this than in track and field. Seriously, the results we're seeing from the World Athletics indoor circuit, they're basically a crystal ball for who's going to be standing on the podium during the big outdoor season this summer.
Just look at Femke Bol. Her recent times in Madrid and Rome, they aren't just numbers on a page. They're a huge signal. They're telling us exactly who has the conditioning and the form to completely dominate when the major outdoor championships roll around. That right there is a perfect performance indicator in action.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the biggest story of the week, hands down, and that is the kickoff of the 2026 Winter Paralympics in Milano Cortina. This is what we're going to call our anchor event for the week.
And there is just an incredible range of competition going on. I mean, you've got everything from the raw speed of Para Alpine Skiing and Snowboarding to the intense precision of Para Biathlon and the incredible strategy of wheelchair curling. The Games are just a massive showcase for the absolute peak of adaptive sports. And, within these events, that's where you find the most powerful human stories. In Para Alpine Skiing alone, we get to watch legends like Great Britain's Menna Fitzpatrick making her comeback after a tough injury, and at the exact same time, you've got these rising stars like Spain's Audrey Pascual, who is just coming in on fire after a completely dominant World Cup season. But sometimes the stories that really stick with you, they aren't the ones you expect. They're the ones that totally challenge our ideas of what an athlete's journey is even supposed to look like. And this brings us to this really fascinating trend, the crossover athlete. I mean, check this out. Jo Butterfield. She is already a Paralympic medalist in a summer sport, athletics. But this week, she's competing in wheelchair curling. This pivot from a summer to a winter discipline is just an incredible story of pure adaptation and skill. Okay, so we've talked title races, performance indicators, the Paralympics. That is a lot to keep track of. So how do you actually organize all this information into a clear picture week after week?
Here's the system I use, and you can use it too. It's a really simple, 3-step workflow. First, you identify the anchor event. What's the main story of the week? Second, you spot the performance indicators, those clues about who's going to win down the road. And third, you find that compelling crossover or human story that just adds that extra layer of depth.
So let's apply it to this week right now. The anchor event? The Paralympics. Easy. The performance indicator? Femke Bol's ridiculously fast indoor track time. And the crossover story? Jo Butterfield's incredible pivot to wheelchair curling. See? Boom! With this framework, you've got a full analysis ready to go.
And now that you have this workflow, you are perfectly set up for what's coming next. Because believe me, Week 9 has just laid the groundwork for an absolutely massive month of March. So as you look ahead, keep these 3 big storylines on your radar. The dramatic, down-to-the-wire conclusion of the WSL title race, the awesome, beautiful chaos of NCAA's March Madness, and of course, the ongoing heroics at the Paralympic Games.
So, I'm going to leave you with this.
Now that you have this framework, what's a story that you'll be tracking? What's an anchor event, a performance indicator, or a crossover narrative that you think other people might be missing? And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. We do these deep dives every single week to keep you ahead of the curve.